Hello and welcome to Alien Gaming Tech. So today we're going to look at the Steam Deck. I've been asked quite a few questions over the last few months. What is it? How much is it? Can you upgrade it? What can it do? What can't it do? So let's just go over a few of those questions. So roll that intro. So what is the Steam Deck and why should you care? Well, for as long as I can remember, PC gamers have always chased that holy grail of having a high-powered gaming PC in a handheld form factor. Now, I'm not saying that's what we have here with the Steam Deck, although on paper the specs look really impressive with its Switch-like form factor. I think we need to keep the expectations to a minimum just to save on disappointment. Valve would have had many complications and challenges to overcome. For example, putting such a powerful APU in such a small device. The thermal output is just one massive challenge on its own. So let's go over those specs quickly now. So we have a custom AMD APU, so the CPU and the GPU are on the same package. The CPU is a Zen 2 4-core 8-thread with a base of 2.4 GHz and it can boost up to 3.5 GHz. On the GPU side, we have 8 RDNA 2 CUs, which base can run at 1 GHz and it can turbo up to 1.6 GHz. Now this APU is rated between 4 and 15 watts. So when it comes to the RAM, we're looking at 16GB of LPDDR5 in a quad channel configuration. Now, considering that we're not really using DDR5 in PCs yet, this is quite impressive. Now, when it comes to the storage, we have a few options. So the entry-level Steam Deck will come with a 64GB eMMC PCIe Gen 2, so that's going to be the slowest storage option. Next, we have the 256GB NVMe SSD, which is a Gen 3, the top of the range model, 512GB high-speed NVMe SSD, and that again is PCIe Gen 3. So what Steam Deck do you buy? And I guess that brings us on to how much is the different models of Steam Deck. Now the 64GB eMMC model is 349 Great British pounds. With the 64GB model, the only thing you get with it is a carry case. Now, if like me, you're a little bit of a tinkerer and you like to open things, see how they work, upgrades, etc., I believe that the 64GB is really good value. As you'll see later on in the video, we'll discuss upgrades. I do think that as an entry-level device, having the same RAM and GPU, performance even, minus the storage speed, I think this is an excellent option. Now, the second one in the lineup, the 256GB NVMe SSD, is priced at 459 Great British pounds. It is faster storage, you do get the carry case, and you'll also get an exclusive Steam Community Profile Bundle. Now, I would recommend this one for someone that doesn't want to carry every single game around with them, but more of someone who plays a few different games, like a completionist who wants to play one game, completely do everything on it, and then they'll delete it. It's also good for someone that doesn't want to open up the Steam Deck. 256GB is great for about 6 or 7 AAA games. Now, the most expensive Steam Deck, the 512GB, is priced at £569, so we're getting a lot more expensive than the entry-level one. It's got even faster storage. It has a premium anti-glare etched glass, so if you're going to be playing this out in daylight, that could make the experience so much better. You also get an exclusive carry case. Again, you get the exclusive Steam Community Profile Bundle, and you also get an exclusive virtual keyboard theme. Now, I would recommend the 512GB version for someone that doesn't mind spending a bit more money to have that extra storage to carry around a lot more games. So the Steam Deck is essentially a gaming laptop in a Nintendo Switch form factor. So the Steam Deck runs on SteamOS, but you can install other operating systems. In a press release, Valve has stated that yes, you can install Windows 10, but why would you install Windows 10? Well, with Linux, there's less overheads. So theoretically speaking, installing Windows 10 would yield less performance than running SteamOS. But on the other hand, SteamOS needs to use Proton, a compatibility layer, to convert Windows games so it can run on Linux. Installing Windows would give you other benefits and advantages. Running games that is just not compatible with the Steam Deck at all, and also running other applications, Disney Plus, Netflix, streaming services. Hell, you could even install Office on it and do work. Now, can the Steam Deck be upgraded? Well, yes, it can. Valve released a teardown video explaining how to take the device apart and where to find the only part that can be upgraded, which is the storage. Now thankfully, even the 64GB eMMC model still has the same M.2 slot as the 512 and 256GB models. So there's nothing stopping you buying the 64GB entry level model and then later on down the line upgrading it to an NVMe SSD. As always with technology, higher capacity drives will be available, 1TB, 2TB, etc. Now the M.2 drive that the Steam Deck requires is called a 2230. The 22 stands for the width, so it's 22mm, and the 30 stands for 30mm, and that's how long the SSD is. Now the most common SSDs in the M.2 form factor is a 2280. Now this is considerably smaller than what we would have in a desktop PC or a laptop. I've done some digging around, and as you can see here, we have a few different options already. Now one thing that Valve did say is their M.2s that are pre-installed in the device have an RF shield because of how close the SSD is to the Wi-Fi antennas. Now we don't know what would happen if we put an M.2 SSD in its place that didn't have those RF shields, and can we even take the RF shields off the old SSD and put them on a new one? I will be testing all this so we can find out the results. So what's the performance going to be like, the real world performance in FPS on AAA title that's just hit the market? Well, that's a little bit of guesswork at this stage, even though we've had leaks of benchmark and some people have got their hands on the device to play on it. Watching the video that Linus put up gives us a good idea of what we're going to expect. Now, is this going to be an amazing experience with over 100 FPS at the highest settings? No. Expectations have to be set accordingly. I was watching a YouTube video the other day and he made a comment saying it's not powered by fairy dust, which I get the expectations around this device. I've heard people planning on using their Oculus Quest 2 with the Steam Deck in their pocket as like an ultimate portable VR experience, expecting to play Half-Life Alyx. I can tell you now without a shadow of a doubt that Half-Life Alyx on the Steam Deck will be a horrible experience. But will I try it? Yeah, of course I will. Why not? I've got no doubt that Beat Saber would be playable and a few other small VR games. I guess the whole point of me testing things that I believe won't work is to post it on YouTube so others can see it, so they don't waste their time trying to get something to work. My expectations of the Steam Deck is I'm going to be running my games at low to medium settings at about 60 FPS. If it can do that, I will be very, very happy. So, at the end of the day, if you don't have ridiculously high expectations from this device, I think everyone will be pleasantly surprised. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. Please consider liking the video and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.